Hey, travel buddies, welcome back to the Layover Lounge, where every destination is a new story. I'm your host, Keisha C, and today's destination landed us right at the doorstep of the Baby It's Keke Palmer podcast. Now, I'm not going to show you the full interview at all. That's not what this is. So you got to get over there to Miss Palmer over at the Baby This Is Keke Palmer podcast for the full interview. But it was definitely worth it. So go check that out. Now, here at the Layover Lounge, we love a good personal development and becoming story. The travel buddies are very much into discovery and personal growth. Travel started me on my journey to emotional intelligence. So this interview with the Nia Long was my kind of kikiing. I loved it. They talked about life after love, discovering who you are versus who they think you are, what joy looks like for you. And just personal things dealing with life in phases. I thought this was a really good interview just among two dynamic women. Let's get into it. Now, for those of you who have yet to see Keke Palmer's podcast, be sure to check it out at This Is Keke Palmer Podcast. I'm not familiar with it. I've never seen anything but this one episode, but let me just tell you, this episode was very good. Everybody was cocoa butter down. Everybody was bronze and glowing and just looking good. Just peep in the beginning. You know, I'm real big into human behavior, but just peep the beginning of how they embraced each other, the compliments, and just how it seems very genuine.
The only Nia Long.
Hi, babe.
So good to have you on the podcast.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here.
You look so stunning.
And she does, and I'm not gonna keep interrupting, but I am of a certain age, so I clearly remember Nia Long. That was my time, and not even remember. I mean, she's had so much longevity in her career. She's still out here, clearly. So that lady got to be between 52, 55 or something. She looks good.
I say this every time I see you. I'm like, she's sick of it. She's here's it for everybody.
I'm a hyper achiever.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Now, what parts of you feel very Scorpio, if any? Do you relate to the signs at all?
I do. I believe in astrology. I think probably I'm a deep thinker. I prefer to be solo than run in a pack.
Same, sis. Shout out to the solo girls out there. And I got my pack. Shout out to the pack girls out there. But I get it.
Yeah.
If I with you, I with you. If I don't, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I'm so glad you with me. I don't want to be on the other end. Let me tell you.
I understand that there are certain people. I thought that was hilarious. That's so real. That's so black. I mean, like, that's just so true. If I mess with you, I mess with you the long way, and you know that. It's just some people you always want to stay connected to. So I felt like Keke, being the younger of the two, she was like, girl, I'm so glad I'm on the right side of history. I don't want to be on your bad side when your good side is so good. You understand?
After being in this industry for so long, you kind of just have to pause and go, okay, I don't need to be friends with every single person, and every single person doesn't have to like me. And then you choose your tribe, right?
Oh, did she say choose your tribe? Y'all know I'm always talking about the village, the community, and the tribe. You have to find people of like mind, people who vibe at a level of frequency that is comfortable for you. Never want to vibrate lower than what's natural and what's comfortable. So I just appreciated her mentioning that connection that we all look for, that we all crave. Maybe you're not that weird. Maybe it's a bunch of weirdos out there. You just got to find the weirdos that appreciate you.
That's
Yes.
a real thing, and I think it's healthy.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think you keep your old friends from back in the day, and they keep things centered and focused and real, and then you meet new friends along the way. The thing is to be inspired.
Yes.
The thing is to be inspired. What Lauryn Hill say, music is supposed to inspire. That is the same thing with words, friendships, and connections. We are all out here trying to connect to something that makes us feel good, that inspires us, that wants us to do more. I mean, why do you think people join fraternities and gangs and organizations? Everybody wants to feel like they are connected to something greater than themselves, and that they are not the only person that feels that way.
Inspires you to be the best version of yourself? Who's supporting that growth?
Hey, travel buddies. If you made it this far in the video, I know something in this conversation resonated with you. If you're on your own journey, figuring life out, growing, learning more about yourself every day, I want you to check out my new book, I Went From Trippin to Traveling, My Journey to Emotional Intelligence. It's real, it's honest, and it's designed to meet you where you are. It's available now on Amazon. Now let's get back into this conversation.
Growth.
Oh my God. Some people relate to you on growth, and then some people you have a form of recognition in stagnation.
Yes.
Where they're hitting this hurt point where it's like, this is the only place that we can vibe together. Is thinking about all the things we've been through.
Have you ever?
Child, and let me tell you something about that. Every person you meet in life, you are supposed to meet. Every circumstance, every situation, in my opinion, you were supposed to feel that, go through that, and see your way out of that. Everything serves you for some purpose, right? So if you are ever at a point where you feel all of your conversations are the same, at the same level, when she mentioned friends from back home, I happen to have moved from one coast to the next. And of course, me being the people person that I am, I have met new friends and created a new tribe. In addition to never disconnecting totally from where I came from, but always open to learning and vibing higher and meeting new people and just serving different purposes in life. And sometimes when you vibe higher and when you grow through and move through certain situations, you are someone else. You are constantly in a state of becoming and evolving. Isn't that what we're all here to do? So it's not necessarily a bad thing to cut off, to lessen your time, to change how you spend your time. That's all we have is time. Money will come back to you, but you'll never get that time back. So I just appreciate also how these two people are what we consider in great spaces, seemingly have enough financial stability, access, eat the food they want, go to places they want to go and visit and see. But you never know because we're all on the same path. We're all trying to have some level of self-discovery. And Nia is talking to Miss Young Keke here, just from the auntie standpoint. I got a few years on you, honey. Let me tell you about this business. Let me tell you about this life.
Looked back at like people that maybe you went to high school with or that you've known from the past, and they were like the most popular girl at school.
Yeah.
And you wanted to be them.
Yeah.
And then you see them years later and you're like, oh no, what happened?
Not oh no. What? Not oh no, what happened, girl? Do you see people when you say that, girl, what happened? What?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, no, but it's a choice to evolve is my point.
And that's a good point. It is a choice to evolve. You can be the same and maybe things are working out for you. Maybe you're just smooth sailing and coasting through life and that could be cool for you, but maybe not your better self. Don't you ever wonder, don't you ever have an urge like this can't be it. There has to be more to life. I believe if you are experiencing like a feeling or urge or some sort of acknowledgement that there is more, then there probably is. So you should act on that.
If we stop, we become stagnant. We don't grow. And then you're like, how can I be at my best self if this is where I'm stopping? So I think it's important to like,
yes,
have these conversations and also encourage the people who may need that. Encourage the friends who may need that.
And if that's your friend, encourage your friends. I know a lot of people around me who are very creative. They may be writing books. They may be interior design, business owners. They may be traveling the world here and there. I know a lot of people in the finance space. But some people get so caught up in, their goal, they're not also enjoying life. So inspire them wherever you can. Sprinkle in to somebody you see has that vision, but maybe just has not executed or doesn't have the information. Information is key. Information is better than currency.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. What are you most grateful for today? Wake up with joy in my heart and good health. I mean, what else could you say?
I try to pause every morning.
Yeah.
And just feel that. It's easy to say, but you have to feel it.
Yeah.
Because that's where the manifestation of good things starts, is by feeling that. And
The manifestation of good things, the manifestation of good things every day, what you live in, what you see, what you hear, what you consume, what you feed yourself, either via TV, via conversation, your environment, whatever, all of those things matter. So just get into it. You are the CEO of your life. And when I'm talking to y'all, I'm talking to myself too. So again, this interview brought me to inspiration. It allowed me to be okay with slowing down a little bit. The world is not going to end, and if it does, I can't do nothing about it. So why not make it great wherever I can?
I wish I had that thing where I could just go. I'm in the bed at like 9:30.
That's fabulous.
I am like 9:30. My son is like, "Oh, you going upstairs?" Yep, gots to go.
I think that's important.
Quiet time.
You know what I mean?
Quiet time. Get you some rest. It is nothing wrong with going to bed at 9:30 if you're up at the crack of dawn. And again, it's the dynamic of the two ladies who are having this conversation. I'm of the thought Keke's probably in her early 30s or something. She's a mother, so they have some common ground there, but clearly Nia is a bit more seasoned than her, just in the business, in parenthood, and just being on the earth a little bit longer. So I think that that's just amazing how they're able to connect. And I feel like Keke is like looking at her as, this is what's to come if it goes well for you. Being okay in your skin, no matter what happens in life, because something's going to happen. There's no guarantee. I mean, who wants to live a boring life where everything is smooth sailing sometimes? How will you ever know who you really are unless you go through some things? And I'm not saying catastrophic things, but just some things. That's life.
I mean, and you don't operate from that thing that we do often see, that I think some people use me as an example of, where we're always this hyper functioning, which is fine. I think there's seasons of that. It's great. It's cool. I mean, and you've always been very successful. So I think it's important, because everybody don't have to move like that
with urgency.
You don't have.
Now, see, there were so many quotables in here, and I can't even remember all of them. But what she just said about you don't have to have a sense of urgency with everything. And you can tell when you speak to people that they have fell into their groove. And I feel like that's what Keke sees in Nia. Like, we all got business to handle. The business is always there to be handled. But at this point in life, if you have systems in place, you know who you are, you set things up at a certain time where you can be in the bed at 9:30. That's a whole blessing right there. Keke probably is more in the stage of, she's still trying to get it. You know what I'm saying? She is definitely an established actress. She knows what she's doing. She has navigated through some things that you or I probably have not experienced. However, you still a young buck compared to Nia Long, and the grace that she is showing is to be admired.
To
right. But I also think, let's talk about the world that we're living in right now. We're in a world where we're getting constant information. So that constant information on our phones make us feel like we actually really need to be in this state of urgency all the time.
Yes.
I didn't come from that generation.
This is good. Mm-hmm. What I would be doing if I wasn't an actor. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what would you be doing if you were an actor?
And before she answers that, I want you all to just ask yourself that too. Like, if money wasn't a thing, if the confinements of society wasn't a thing, who would you be? Who are you when you go on vacation now? Would you be that person amplified 10 to 15 times? Would you be the same person? I just wonder. Ask yourself. That's homework for tonight.
I think I'd be a therapist.
Girl, I'm already on the couch.
I think I'd be a therapist. But I wouldn't have been a therapist 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I'd be a therapist now because I have such a better understanding of self. I have a better understanding of grace. I have a better understanding of how to get to your truth.
Come on, Nia, with the truth. Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's the journey. That's the thing that starts when you are born and never ends. Who are you? The journey of self. What floats your boat? What makes you feel good? Which way am I going?
And so I don't think you could be help to anyone else if you don't know how to do that for yourself.
Last one. What's a mantra you live by and why? My business. I don't need the noise. Okay. Period.
My mama business, and I don't need the noise. And I understand that exactly. No explanation needed, but here we go.
I don't need the noise.
I
Mind
don't
my
need the
business.
noise.
The noise is heavy.
The noise will break you down.
Girl.
Girl, the noise will break you down. That's that every day you go to work and here come, you know, the one at work that's always on you before you can put your bags down, before you can think straight. Here are these same every day, every month bills. Here's your children asking you, can I have this? No, you cannot. Sure you can, whatever. The decision making, the showing up, the being present, the being the support for everybody outside of yourself. That is the life of most people, but it doesn't have to be. As you go through your personal journey, as you grow, you develop mentally, emotionally, you become more intelligent. Some stuff does not matter. Some things just don't matter. The noise, the loudness, the heaviness. I don't want to be bothered. I'm gonna mind my business.
Will break you down.
Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Where
and so then my mother got a full scholarship to go to the University of Iowa. She took the scholarship. She went to Cooper Union in New York. She went to Howard, and so she was a single mom. We got there, and it was very white school. Mm-hmm. And I experienced racism, and I experienced hate, and I experienced definitely a sense of identity that I did not. I was not very sure of who I was.
Now, in my experience, there are so many people with identity issues. You're supposed, as a young lady, you are taught to be this type of young girl, wear this, make sure you show up this way. I am sure young men are taught to gravitate to the people they look like, gravitate to the people in their area, gravitate to the people who have what you have. But sometimes you could be like in the middle of all of those things and you don't really fit in on either side. So that just sets you off on a path of self-discovery. So you can't avoid it. It's going to happen.
Wow.
And I had a lost sense of my own identity. And at times, like what it meant to be Black in America in the 1970s, because that was a very important time for us. And it wasn't until I got to LA and I landed in South Central that I really understood what Black people were going through, because it was in front of me.
And that's why representation matters. You can hear about it, but until you are in the thick of things, you just don't really have that same concept of what people are actually going through. Even if they look like you, they are in different situations and different settings. And she said her mom was living in Iowa. So to go from Iowa to South Central Los Angeles is a culture shock to say the least. That's just an understatement. I'm from California myself. I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area, East Palo Alto to be exact. And for me to leave the Bay and just be dropped into South Central LA at that time, or even now in present day, I believe it will be a culture shock to me too, coming from Iowa or not.
I knew what I had gone through in Iowa, but being in a community of Black people where I was often teased for speaking proper,
right,
or teased for having a little bit of a different look that didn't really fit with the light-skinned girls or the dark-skinned girls, and being like the colorism, right?
Colorism.
Like these are the things that we understand as Black women.
Yeah.
I mean, just the things you have to navigate in life, even just amongst ourselves. Everybody, you hear the word community, tribe, and village. You hear that often because that is all we are in search of every single day. I don't care if it's your bingo group, if it's your sports club, if it's your muscle car crew, whatever it is, everybody is searching for. They've been around the world and
Like, what made you think I could be a kid actor or actor as a kid?
I was always kind of interested in show business, but not because I wanted to be a star. I just thought like, well, if they can do it, I can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like,
and that has, I'm going to stop on that point for just a second. When she says I didn't necessarily want to be a star. I just felt like if they can do it, well, I could do it too. And that is pretty much how I landed in corporate America. I never really had dreams of saying, oh, I want to climb the corporate ladder, or I see myself with a big corner office with the window and blah, blah, blah. But as I grew in my career and as I met other people, I started to have that same thought. Well, shit, if they could do it, I could do it too. And then come to find out you can. And you might even be good at it. So why wait? Just do it. Go.
Like, acting class was very therapeutic for me
Interesting.
because I was able to explore my emotions through scene work. And that was a little bit of like,
I felt like that hit Keke at home right there.
you could work through some things. Single mom, my dad wasn't really around. You know, you're dealing with abandonment issues. You're dealing with growing up in Iowa as a young black girl. You've experienced racism. You understand what segregation is. You're trying to come into your own, but you're also in a black community with people that aren't totally accepting me as I was.
Wow.
Talked about, or, you know.
Keke and her, wow. Man. Yeah.
I became funny. You know what I mean? My sister was, you white girl, full eyes. And I was like, oh, it won't be me. You know,
So
it's
you
your...
performed.
Right. I performed because that was my safety. So I really relate to you on those characters, those that gave me an opportunity to express and play with themes.
Yeah.
Now, travel buddies, tell me, how many people do you know like that? You see people who are just always on, and on for them could look like in business mode, always tense or whatever. But for Keke, her performative act was jokes and comedy, just to try to soften the blow or even dodge the blow, avoid it before it came. How many of you know somebody like that? And if you don't, are you that somebody?
Emotions and things I couldn't have otherwise accessed. So it's like, yeah.
And we were still, at least I know I was, we were still, my family, we were in the mindset of survival. And when you are constantly trying to survive, there is no room for self-exploration. And so that becomes the thing that as an adult, as you become a mother, as you deal with relationships that are trying and poke you, and when those things happen, though, it's such a blessing because those are the things that make you stop to try to seek understanding.
Yes.
And so,
and that's all this personal journey and becoming and being inspired to just get to know your greater self. Imagine we really are in a parallel world or something. Maybe there is one of you in a different life, living the dream, living the life, living the experience that you always wanted. So if it's true what they say, you are the CEO of your life, then let's put some systems in place to make it look like the vision I have in my head.
never look at anything that happens in your life as bad or good. It's just part of the journey.
Well, and she said that ended that on the perfect note. It's just part of the journey. So I hope that this interview, that you are able to check it out when you have a chance. This is The Baby. This is Keke Palmer Podcast. They went into so much more conversation, but you'll have to check that out over there. And travel buddies, I just want to say thank you for stopping by the Layover Lounge for this episode. I hope it inspired you. I hope that you found it valuable. If you did, drop in the comments. Let me know what you thought. Be sure to like and subscribe. It helps us show up in the algorithm more. And I appreciate you. And I'll check you on the next destination.